Good to see you guys. Welcome to class. Shirley and I were just talking about berry picking, and it's just fun to talk about food and berries in this class. But today's Tuesday, February 4th, and we have a few discussions and activities we want to share. So for today, we'll do the Kagwantan love song discussion. Last week, we had to push you guys for time since this class is just during lunch hour and people need to get back to work. But unfortunately, that didn't give us very much time to talk about the dance performance we saw. So we will make time today to step back and talk about it. And then we got some fun emails on the newspaper on people's progress, and we're moving right along on this project, so we'll make time for that as well today too. Um, so before we structure the discussion too much, did you guys have anything on your mind? Any language questions, comments? Anything else otherwise?
I had a question about how to pronounce my name again.
Uh, Nasi Skuntla. I'll write it for you. Do names. Since you're the class teacher of the fourth graders who are on the other side of the country from us, we thought as a group we would call your class Nathe Schoon, meaning faraway school. And since you're their teacher, we're calling you Nathe Schoon Tla, mother of the faraway school. So let's start with the last word first. Repeat after me. Tla.
La,
Class.
TL, high tone AA. Tla. And the word before that, schoon, is a Tlingit pronunciation of the English word school. And so it's an adaptation of the English word school. And so you just pronounce it schoon.
spoon,
Mhm. So try just the last two words together. Schoon tla.
spoon, la,
Mhm. And then this first word is telling us what kind of school, a faraway school. And it's N double A, Lingit L, and then high tone EI. So repeat after me. Na lle.
da, hle,
La fe,
And the whole phrase. Na lle sgun tla.
na,
la fe schoon class,
Class.
Yeah. One more time. Na lle sgun tla.
na, hle,
la fe schoon class.
Yeah. Shirley, do we sound okay?
Yeah, that sounded good.
Good. Did that help, Evelyn? Na lle
yes,
sgun
it
tla.
did. And I've got a few kids here who are practicing with us.
Good.
Yeah.
Uh, I wanted to make a comment on something that came up in your writing about what do they call the days of the week?
Yes.
Uh, we didn't really keep track of days like that, and because of the English language uh, being so specific about the days. We went along with it and now call it by the numbers. So it's not real common, but it's done where you add the number day 1, day 2, day 3.
Okay.
Oh.
So seasons were more important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And was the month something that was marked?
The months were because they went by the moon. So the moon each something that and I didn't do today was to name the months, the new months that we're in. And it varied. I was kind of surprised to find out that it varied from town to town. That different locations had different names for the moon, but I think the system we're using is the one that was what we call the Northern Tlingit words for the moon.
Mhm.
So I I think because of going by the moon, it was a little more than 12 months. But that apparently wasn't too important, although they counted the months.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering about that too, because well, if you go by the moon, I heard might be 13 months.
It's close to 13 months.
Okay. And then in um, Korea, they just had the Lunar New Year at the end of January. So I was kind of wondering which month that would put us on in a lunar calendar. I'm opening up Lingit Class on the section about the month names. And so, of course, they kind of generally in this book assign month names or names of the moon per the, you know, September, October, November Gregorian calendar names that are used in English. So they generally put January as Tawak Disi, Canada Goose Month, when geese fly and call. And then February as Tsik Disi, Black Bear Month, when the cubs are born. So since it's February, maybe that would be Tsik Disi.
Yeah, that's an easy one, huh?
Yeah. I'm gonna add it to our notes for the newspaper.
Yeah, I was researching the names of the months, and I was really excited when I found a recording by someone that gave the names of the month.
Oh,
Uh, I thought, okay, now I'm going to find out what is the new year for the uh, Southeast people.
yeah.
And
Yeah, pretty soon.
so when I checked into it, I was kind of disappointed that the person started with January as the first of the year. But
Oh,
I kind of suspect that the first of the year might be April.
mm-hmm.
That's when we can start gathering food.
Oh,
I'm not sure. I never did really hear from anyone that said, yeah, that is. And I heard people say, now the new year started when the salmon when the salmon arrives, and that's way in June. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything really firm.
Yeah. Jeff Lear told me when he was teaching me transcription, that he interviewed people from different areas. And it's kind of like you said that depending on where they live, they might consider the start of the year a different month.
Yeah, in April, that's when we went out to uh to take the to get cambium from the tree. That's when the tree was ready to give all that sugar.
Oh, that's what cambium is?
And it's yummy. It's really, really uh, tasty, and it's sweet and juicy.
Huh.
Probably has tons of vitamin A because of the color. Carrot,
Huh. Hmm. It's carrot colored.
orange, bright orange.
Uh, wow. Vitamin A. Is that the one that's good for your eyes?
Eyes, your hair, your skin, your uh, your teeth, your the membranes of your um, body.
Oh.
Good maintenance.
Oh. And when you guys went out for cambium, how did you collect it?
Uh, you have to take the bark from the tree,
Mhm.
and we would that my brothers, my father, they would pull the bark off the tree, just peels. In fact, I guess that's why they pick a certain time to do it. And then my dad would pick the bark, and because it comes in very big long sheets, he would kind of divide it up so that my mom could collect the cambium by getting a square of it. And she would sit on the ground with her ulu
Mhm.
and start working to get that cambium from the bark. Uh, our job as kids was to carry those to my mom, and also to take the once she finished, get it out of the way. And then if you got real thirsty or need a snack, you just grab some of that cambium that she already worked on. So it destroys a whole tree.
Mhm.
So I think my dad used to pick one that was close to the beach, and after we finished taking the bark, uh, then he would cut down the tree, and then we would tow the log back home, cut it up for firewood. And when Tongass National Forest said, no more, you can't do that anymore. So they cut us off from that. Take a tree, one tree.
Wow. How long would you guys be out there working on cambium?
All day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I have my mother's ulu that I'm not sure. I have two ulus that belong to her. One was for cleaning the skins so she could tan it, and there was the other ulu was for the cambium. I don't know which is which. Try to figure it out.
Would she scrape the bark with her ulu for cambium?
Yeah.
Oh. What does it smell like?
Uh, kind of like the woods,
Uh,
but when you taste it, it's sweet
mm,
uh, and juicy.
mm.
Well, my mom was so good at with that ulu, and she would take long strands of it. Start. We would have one uh, piece of bark that served as a tray for her, where she would put the cambium she finished.
Mm.
So it didn't get that much. It would be probably enough for like 2 or 3 jars that she would cook up for the winter.
Oh, she would cook it?
Yeah, and
Huh.
mom canned everything.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes my brothers used to joke, say, "What is this?" They said, "Don't know, but give it to mom and she'll cook it. She'll can it and we'll try to figure out what it is." So we had a lot of, she even canned peaches and apples and plums.
Hmm.
So we just have just tons of food.
Mm.
That's beside all the berries that we. Anyway, we're off the subject. What was
Yeah. One more quick question. When you canned the cambium, would you guys just open it up and eat it, or would you spread it on things, or?
Oh no, you just eat it like dessert.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Sounds good. Um, I see some comments in the chat. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anything. Um, okay, a comment about months. According to the Swanton, According to Swanton, the Haida calendar was 2 periods of 6 lunar months with 2 interstitial months in the spring and fall that were of different lengths, depending on seasonal changes. So essentially 13 to 14 months as well. I always thought that was a much more reasonable way to make a calendar and it reflects the environment.
Yeah, I think that's why the calendar we use today is kind of off. They have to adjust it every now and then.
That makes sense. And then another question, how do you call the cambium in Tlingit and from which tree is it taken off?
Taken from the hemlock.
Oh,
Let's see, what is it called? Suck, suck. I think it's called suck.
oh yeah, okay. I see it in the dictionary too. So, wow. Okay, let's add it in.
Wait, what
So
would
cool.
be the name of the hemlock? So,
Hemlock tree. Let me look it up. Hemlock yun.
And my my dad would choose the tree, usually one that is the branches are closer to the top. It's quite tall, and the location. He must mark the tree at some time um, to be able to come back to it and uh, and have that one where you, you don't run into a lot of branches that are low, so that it's harder to peel. So I wasn't involved in that, so but I do know, and and the way they did it was they had this long pole, and it had a flat uh, uh, end to it, kind of shaped like an ulu. And the my dad would use a hatchet and go uh, go around the tree and then start to mark it so that my brothers could stick the stick under it and begin the peeling process. And you could reach quite high without breaking up the hem, the bark. So you
Wow.
get a long strip of it.
Hmm.
So uh,
Wow.
sometimes it was you can just pull on it and peel it, but you didn't want. My mom didn't like it when you just broke it off. She liked that long pieces, and so they used a stick a lot more.
Okay. Hmm.
It's kind of interesting the things you could do without tools,
Mhm.
using uh, using that stick with that's flattened down the end.
Hmm.
I don't know what kind of wood that was, but it was. I always had seemed to have a couple of them handy.
Yeah. Hmm. Really cool. Thanks for sharing. That's awesome. Well, we said we would make time for you guys to talk about the Kagwantan love song. And since it's been a few days since we looked at it, um, just a reminder that this song was composed by someone who was named after Danawak. Um, they were from his last words. Um, and Squate shared a really cool story with us about the song as well. And let me see if I see her in here today. Nope, she must be busy during her lunch hour today, but
Yeah, she
another,
gave us insight to the song.
she what?
She gave us the insight as to who the composer was. Wasn't
Yeah,
his wasn't his mother. It was somebody named after Donawak, Chief Donawak's mother.
that's right. Yeah. Um, and we talked a little bit too about how if there are two verses, you repeat each verse twice. with a break in between. Um, the song begins with a chant, and we didn't write down the vocables or the chant. We just put the lines of the verses. And then the other thing we talked about is when you write down lyrics to a song, you don't use tone marks because the song will give the words their tone. But yeah, did you guys have any comments or questions about this performance? We watched the Kwan dancers perform it from the 2008 celebration performance. Shirley, did you want to add or anything?
I don't think uh, the song was so fast, and it probably had to do with the recording, uh, because they really would have had to do a jazzy performance
Yeah.
for, for the speed that the song was sung in. So if there's some way to slow down the song so that it has a regular beat.
I could. There's an option on YouTube to slow down the playback speed by a quarter. Do you think I should play it again?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do the lyrics and then I'll hit play. Verse 1, you guys, if you like, you can repeat after me. I'll just do line by line. Gusuwa
Gusuwa
Usuae
kagwan tan yetki
Kagwantam Haki
Yakti
ach kakashidi
Achkat Hasidi
yetuch de tench
Ye
Yet
Tush Detunch
I think it better repeat that part.
This last line, yetuch de tench
Ye
to
Tush
Detan
Detunch
How's that, Shirley?
Yeah, that's good. In the white man's way of speaking, it's reversed.
Yeah.
It actually says uh, your uncle's houses. I'm thinking about it. So in the white man's way, they would say, I'm thinking about your uncle's houses,
Mm.
what it means.
Mm-hmm.
So they a cock, a hitty is talking about your uncle's houses.
Oh, goodness, geez.
So it trips me up too to think about it. Uh, uh, I've become so used to the English language.
Mm.
So when it comes to this line, I always forget how it goes.
Oh, I'm thinking about my uncle's houses. In
But
Tlingit, you'd say.
the
Ach,
first,
kak. Uh-huh. So cool. Yep. Okay, so yeah, the word order would be reversed. And then it would be repeated. And then the next verse, first line, Hande Ichin.
Ande Ijin Jin
Kagwantanyetki.
Kagwantanhati.
Uchin, yes.
Yes.
Yik kwalhashat.
Ye. Wa.
Yeah. How's that, Shirley?
And the last line is the whole song verse is, "Give me your hand, children of the Kagwantan. I will hold it for the last time." Hujinis. Hujinis is for the last time.
I will hold it for the last time. Sheesh. Okay, cool. So let's listen to,
Singing chords. It's got to be 4 times. Two verses, 2 times each.
oh yeah. So it all adds up to 4 instead of 3, like you might hear in English songs. Cool. So let's see if I can slow this down. I might need to open YouTube really quick. Okay, it looks like it's gonna let me do it right in here. Oops, quality. So for people studying, whether it's songs or speeches in YouTube, this is a handy tool. You can select this gear icon at the bottom and then go up to playback speed, select it, and you can slow it down. So there's normal, which would be 100%. If you want to slow it down by a little bit, you go to 0.75. So it'll be 3/4 speed. And I'm going to hit play and we'll watch it.
Baby, go stand over there then. Now we're going to do our love song for the Kagwantan Kashikya. If you're Kagwantan Yeti, we sure want to see you stand up there. Show pride of your father's land. Go stand over there. Kagwantan Kashikya, Hagu Itik.
We lost a little audio quality when we slowed it down, but it still helped me a lot to follow the words.
Yeah, yeah, that was a better speed.
Yeah. And I kind of realized that they put vocables or the chanting in between each line too, which I didn't actually realize that the first time we listened to it. Any thoughts, comments, questions from anyone? Okay, we have 20 minutes left and there's some things we wanted to show you for the paper. And they are that we received a design draft update from our design specialist in this group, and we would like to demonstrate how we can offer translation suggestions to you all. Shaksani Keek and I received a submission for the recipe column, and we looked at the translation that was done, which was awesome, and then we made a few suggestions. So we'd like to show you guys how that process looks like. And if we have time, we want to give you class time to work on articles. First, we'll ask if anyone has work that they want to share, and we can look at it together in class. If not, we'll give you time to work on them. So let's go to our design. And a quick reminder, I made this Google folder. It's a shared folder for everybody here, and I'll give you the link to it. You guys are welcome to put your submissions or your drafts right in this folder. This document is the newspaper article document that we started together. And again, everyone can edit this. It makes it a little easier for us if you put your submission, what you're working on, your thoughts on the right here, and then Shaksani Keek and I can get together during our prep periods and think ahead about it before class. So that's what we did. And now I'll show you what it looks like. I'll pull it up on the screen here. So, Nathe Skuntla, did you want to talk about your work so far?
I didn't know if I should just keep it in Lingit or like the schedule. There was no way I was gonna try to, I mean, I would need a lot of help to translate and, for the traditional games. And I had questions about the wording that I chose. Um, because I was just, looking at the phrase book. I found so many resources and I got just lost in it for like a whole day.
Yeah.
Like
Nice.
this was my Sunday.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't get any schoolwork done. It was just fun. I
Yeah.
love this. I need to retire and just do this.
Yeah.
And then the weather, I just threw up symbols, but I thought closer to our publishing, we could look at the forecast and match it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then the personal ads, I just was cracking myself up with this little people.
She put under personals ads, she put the sentence we worked on together in class. My mother says I'm pretty.
And then I put a phone number.
Yeah. So cute. Personals ad, weather. Yeah, we can put in our days of the week here. I love the idea of the just the image of the weather. We could put a caption if we want, like late kusi tan, or use the future phrase, I guess. Very cool. And then you had a recipe as well.
Yeah, someone put a recipe, and I guess I need to attribute that to the person who put the recipe, and I didn't know whose great grandmother that was
Okay.
for, I think it's boiled fish.
Yeah. Awesome. Is the reporter for the recipe column in here today? See who that was. We have for recipe column Squate, who must be busy working during her lunch hour today. So since Squate wrote the recipe, Shirley, should we wait for her to come back before we talk about the translations? Okay. Just to give everybody a sneak peek, we'll wait for Squate to come back so she can get feedback or our suggestions. But just so y'all know what it looks like, we got this awesome recipe. Let me find it. And it was kind of fun for Shirley and I to look through it and think about phrases for um, the way we talk about a fish, the way we would describe how to add water, putting salt and pepper, how to describe chopping the onion or what to say about it if you want to add potatoes to add them. But we basically will take the submission and think about like how would Shirley say that? What do we find in the book? And you all don't have to take our suggestions. We just are here to support you so you can. And Shirley, did you want to add anything else just in general about our process for translating?
Yeah, we kind of looked at the recipe as they would do in a village with no measuring tools. So if the original recipe does have these measuring tools, then we'll have to leave it alone.
Sounds good.
Two ways to look at it. The way you throw it together in a village without measuring anything, or trying to teach somebody how to cook it and use the measuring tools with it to make sure it's enough for the family size.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's a more modern recipe, then we'll leave the measuring tools in.
That sounds good. Anyway, this was really cool so far. For people that have already been working on your articles, we just want to say thank you. And we're excited to go over them with you and spend class time.
And make us hungry for boiled fish.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I see that there are two translations for salt and pepper. Can we see that?
Yeah, so the line for salt and pepper. The first one, eat cause is salt. This next word, ka, is and then siaguat, pepper, which literally means, I forget. I want to say sour thing, but it's not quite sour. It's like, let me find.
Peppery.
Peppery. There's a long name in the dictionary. Once at. Which I'm not sure what those first two words, something medicine.
I think this description here is pretty good. The Sultan. Because that's
Yeah.
always heard for pepper.
Okay. at. Spicy thing, sour thing. Okay, peppery. So yeah, I think to answer your question, we would use this first phrase, at. They also added nak. But I would go with the first one. Huh?
Never heard that.
Okay. And
Add
that
not it's just Sealcoatis was the description I always heard.
okay, good. 8 kasi at salt and pepper. Good question. Any more questions? Since Squate is not here today, I kind of want to reserve more discussion on this for when she comes back. But who else has an article or a column that they're working on and you want to talk about it?
Or recipe.
Or a recipe?
I wrote 2 articles for the indigenous rights. I'll put them into the folder so you guys can look at them. I was just trying to
Awesome.
keep them smaller,
Yeah.
so they would be easy to translate and easy to read and look. They're only like
Okay.
3 paragraphs though right now, so I'll put them in there.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you.
Are you still working on it?
Yeah, I just was trying to get it easier to translate and smaller, but I'll put them in there so that you guys can see what I got.
Okay. I put
could
my
probably take off the schedule for like, we could make this as many pages as we want, but I could take off the schedule and we could put that right on the front page, you know?
Mhm.
Because it would be better to have less English, right?
Mhm. Yeah, that sounds good. So we could still have the ad that you put, the image, the graphic, and then put our news beneath it.
I wasn't
Eh,
sure how to say traditional games.
Traditional games?
Yeah,
Hmm. How to say traditional games in Tlingit?
Games would be Skusiat.
Shkuliat.
Uh,
Shkuliat.
we did a lot of that in my hometown. It was just sometimes really hilarious things they did. Get together for an evening of games and play uh, and skits. Almost forgot what the word was.
Yeah.
Or, and they did a lot of skits that was just They were just so funny.
Hmm.
Funny actors.
How old were you guys when you would do that?
Well, these are adults.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Fun.
Was it like charades where somebody gave you an idea and they got acted out?
I don't know how they thought it up, but one I remember is and they would they hung a sheet with lights behind it, and there was they brought somebody in on like on a to a doctor, and he was going to do surgery, and uh you could see the shadows, but the light was on them, and they were behind the sheet. You could see what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Person laying on the table. Uh, then they brought out a big saw and a big knife, and they started doing the operation. And they started pulling out all these intestines and parts. It's so funny.
I love that idea.
Hmm.
I know they used to, I don't know how they dreamed them up, but
Hmm.
they, there was a fantastic violin player in town who was a kind of a band leader and very talented person.
Hmm.
And so they brought out, there was a big box that was sitting there. And then they introduced this guy. He brought out a violin, and everybody gasped because they said, "What? He knows how to play this?" Started playing this beautiful music.
Hmm.
He was just really putting on an act.
Hmm.
And then uh, he made a mistake and he stopped playing, but the music kept going, and they've turned the box around, and sitting inside the box was the violin player. He was mimicking how to play. Fooled everybody. We all thought, what? We didn't know he could play. Yeah, they used to do a lot of stuff like that. Just a whole evening, funny stuff, skits.
Hmm. That's fun.
Yeah, we used to in cake. They used to do skits, and
Hmm.
so I was part of it. And so we were doing this scene.
Hmm.
I was the teacher, and the other guys were the students, but I couldn't control them.
Hmm.
They were picking on each other, and I was trying to get them to sit down. And
Hmm.
pretty soon, here comes a lady. She was playing a girl. She was carrying a rag doll, kind of a heavy-set woman.
Hmm.
And she came in the middle of all this, and I said to her, I said, "You're late. We already gave out the seats, but you can sit here for the president." So I went back to trying to break up the fights and pinching it, whatever, and getting him to sit down. And in the middle of all this, that woman carrying the doll stood up and started crying, big loud cry. Ah! And so we all stopped to look at her. And I said, "What happened?" And she said, "You said I could sit here for the president. And so far, I haven't got one present." I don't know how came up with it. I was part of it, but somebody else came up with the idea. It was really funny.
Did you all record them?
No,
Oh,
yeah, another time uh, somebody wrote the scene, and I was supposed to be uh, a self-centered girl and wanted to have a lot of attention. So I got on the bus. There was a bus and a driver, and the passengers were young guys. And so I got on the bus and I looked at everybody and I said, I just washed my hair and I can't do a thing with it. And so I started to go to the seat and the guy tripped me and he said, I just washed my feet and I can't do a thing with it. And that was supposed to be the punchline. But who stole the show was the bus driver. He was putting on such a show, driving, slamming the door, beep beep, and zoom, and just, he was the motor and everything. Everybody's just cracking up laughing at him. I don't think they even heard anything we said. So,
fun.
yeah.
Hmm.
Now there were games that they played. Spin. It's I think today they call it spin the bottle,
Yeah.
but spin the plate.
Okay.
Get a plate, and everybody's is sitting around in a circle.
Mhm.
So the guy with the plate gets in the middle, and he starts to spin the plate and calls out a name from the group, and that person has to jump up to grab the plate before it falls on the floor.
Yeah.
And so the scramble is the funny part of it. So sometimes they can get it, and sometimes they can't.
Mm-mm.
If they can't get it, then it's their turn to spin. If they get it, then they get to go back and sit down.
Nice.
Oh, it was really fun.
Well, uh, that's all the time we have for today, guys. But this is fun to talk about. And on Thursday, our first drafts will be due for our articles, so keep them simple, keep them short. We'll work on your translations in class. And Shirley, did you have anything else you wanted to share before we go?
Yeah. What about the article that was submitted? Uh, is it?
I don't see it yet. Yandekin Kiraka is going to put it
Yeah,
in our folder.
just trying to figure out which folder to put it in over here.
Oh, you could email it to me and I'll put it in too.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. Do you see my email in the chat? Okay.
Did you do any work on it yet? Is there any specific thing you wanted us to give you help on?
I just wanted to make sure they are not too long. Also, I realize that, I work for the federal government and I need to be kind of careful what I say, because I kind of have some strong feelings on this. So, but yeah.
FBI doesn't come after our paper.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, as long as we're using my Lingit name, I don't see how they could find me, but yeah.
Get us.
Yeah.
Don't get
But
us
these two articles they're totally apolitical. Just get a look and see what you guys think. just try and make them smaller, I think is what I need.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks for your work.
Anybody else?
Well, you guys have my email, so shoot me an email. We'll work on it. I know y'all have to get back to work now, but we'll see you here on Thursday.